All right, I'm gonna do one more video on the lab tonight. I'm just gonna be real quick. The lab is a lot simpler in terms of what you need to prepare week in and week out. Lab is all about hands-on, and so we do most everything in the lab hands-on. You'll have some homework occasionally. You'll have a quiz every week, and so you will have to do the study time outside of class. But you won't have the online assignments, and you won't have as much preparation week to week. But I do want to make sure everybody's on the right page for labs. So let me give you, or once you give me just a few minutes of your time to let me go over this with you real quick. On the home page here, you can see the information about the class, including the textbook. So we don't have a textbook like we have in lecture. It's more of a course pack, and that serves as the textbook. It looks a lot like the course pack you got for the lecture, but this is actually the lab book in this case. Bring that with you every week. You'll need that pretty much every week, and occasionally I'll add to it, but you'll want to have that, and I'll sometimes give you extra stuff to go in there with it. On the home page, I leave announcements. In the syllabus section here, you'll find the schedule. Gives you an idea of what labs we're doing on what nights. We'll have a quiz each week on the topic the previous week. So today and this week, I want you just to look over the intro lab, which I'll show you where to find that here in just a second. And then next week, we'll have a quiz over that intro lab. Now, these quizzes will be at the beginning of class, typically, as opposed to at the end of class, sometimes in the middle. Depends on what we're doing, but we won't do the review like we do in lecture. So it'll just be come in. I will answer any questions that you have, but we won't necessarily go through an extended review. So you'll need to be mostly prepared when you come in, minus whatever questions you might have. And then the week that next week, for example, we'll start the next topic in class. This one's aseptic technique. The following week, we'll have a quiz over that, etc. Now, in lab, you have, rather than multiple exams, you have just two major exams. So you have a midterm exam and a final exam. Now, I do the final exam the week before the final week of class. So I do that week 15, and then we don't have class week 16. So two major exams. Let's see. You got the syllabus here. You've got resources. You'll find handouts. You've got some digital copy of the lab manual. So if you want to reference that, you can reference that. You can print out individual labs if you need to. Down here at the bottom, I've got study guides for the midterm and the final when those days come. I will periodically upload things here. Tonight, or for the intro lab rather, you've got some video links to click on. Those are found under the bookmarks here in resources. I'll come back to that. So for tonight, for the first lab, you're doing the introductory lab. It's real short. The first week is pretty easy for the most part. The introductory lab is just to get us sort of acclimated to what we're talking about. What it really does is it introduces some of the topics like safety, and that's just one of those things you sort of have to cover. So go through those, and I will ask you safety questions on the quiz. I won't make you recite them from memory. These will be multiple choice. Well, there'll actually be some fill in the blank, but these will be pretty easy questions. I'm not going to make you recite these from memory or anything. Just be familiar with what these are. You'll have the 5 I's. These are just common terms. I just sort of throw them in here in the intro lab, not knowing where else to throw them exactly. Terms that you'll see come up over and over throughout the semester. So those are just sort of their own little set of vocabulary there. So safety, the 5 I's, and then what I'm doing in the next section is I'm outlining really the first 3 labs of the semester. So aseptic technique and sterile procedure, culture methods and media, and isolation techniques. We'll have a separate lab on each of these somewhere later in the semester. And what you really just got is about a half page on each of these to just outline some real basic concepts. If you click on the digital copy of the lab manual, you've got those same video links embedded here in that document there. Otherwise, you can find those in the resources. So read through those, and on page 7, you've got review questions that just come from those first couple pages there. On the page 8, the back side there, these are the video questions that come from those video links. So you've got questions on the front of page 7, questions on the back, page 8. Page 7 come from the right out of the reading here, pages 3 through 6, and then page 8 are the video questions off those first 2 videos. So go over all that. You'll have a quiz over those over pages 7 and 8 next week in class. I will go over a few other things because there's some things I just need to point out in the room and sort of show you firsthand. That's really it. I mean, honestly, the first week is pretty straightforward. I usually don't spend a lot of time. I usually get people out of there early that night, so there's not a lot. If we have to miss a day for lab, this is probably the best one to miss, honestly. I wanted to just make sure to kind of take a minute to show you specifically what you need to do. Okay, so for next week, have those review sheets filled out, and I will actually collect that sheet. I should point that out. So page 7 and 8, I will collect that and give you a grade in the homework section of your grade book for that. All right. So bring that in, have it filled out, and you'll use that to study ahead of time, and you'll turn it in for a homework grade in class. I'll get you caught up on everything else in class, and as always, email me if you have any questions. Let me know if anything I skipped over. I am doing this kind of late, last minute. It's been kind of a long day. Please let me know if I need to add anything else, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Have a great week. I'll see you all next week. Take care.